There's certain, wallahu alam, certain signs a person feels contentment inside their heart, peace, tranquility, a good feeling inside their heart. The person can feel that. Also, other blessings may come in the life of the individual. A person begins to recognize them, but it doesn't mean a person doesn't stop making tawbah. A person should always make tawbah. That's why you find the companions. Umar al-Khattab used to mention that, I used to sometimes sit there and I used to laugh, and sometimes I used to weep. Some ulama of tariq have made it weak about it, but in general we can accept it. He said that I used to laugh because when we used to go on a journey, this part is true anyhow, that we used to, because we never had an idol or statue with us, we would just gather the dates together and put them together. Then when we felt hungry, we used to take the dates and eat them. So we used to eat our own God. And what used to make us weep and cry is because how the Quraysh or the Arabs, some of the Arabs used to bury their daughters alive. So that made him, the ulama of tariq, as I mentioned, they said that about Umar burying his daughter alive is not true. But there were some of the Quraysh who practiced this. But some of them, they used to weep about their sins. So that's a sign. That's a good sign when a person sits and thinks about their life, that I done this, how could I have done that in my life, what made me do that in my life. Every time a person remembers it, that will strengthen the iman of the individual. Remember, some of the ulama mentioned that even with the prophets, that when they made that mistake, because we can't call it a sin, the mistake that they made, they jumped up many steps. So that's we found Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya wrote a book called Madarij al-Salikin, Footsteps of the Travelers. Tawbah, or sin, bounces you forward. رُبَّ طَاعَةٍ يَجُرُّكَ إِلَى مَعْصِيَةٍ. Perhaps obedience takes you to disobedience. وَرُبَّ مَعْصِيَةٍ تَجُرُّكَ إِلَى الطَّاعَةِ. And perhaps disobedience leads you to obedience. How? How could obedience lead you to disobedience? Person, as I touched on, becomes arrogant. Person, mashallah, is praying. Other people don't pray. Look at them. Arrogant towards them. And you see that sometimes, that's why they blame us imams, isn't it? When you speak to people, you're arrogant towards people. How you speak to them, make them feel bad or whatever it may be. That's my job, I've got to make you feel bad, yeah. But sometimes the way that we conduct ourselves is not good. Because arrogance, then it leads to what? Pride. Pride leads to the hellfire. So that's why obedience can lead to disobedience. How does disobedience lead to obedience? It's clear, isn't it? When you disobey Allah, you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your mind. It makes you think, how could I do that in my life? How can I do that inside my life? I don't know why I've done that in my life. I'm much stronger than that. You are a human being, not via your strength. You're a human being via your soul. You conquer your soul, your nafs, you're a strong human being. That when temptations come in front of you, you don't crumble. That's why many of our youth, they're weak. They think they're strong, their biceps, triceps, and tattoo their arms and show their bodies and everything in the summer. That's not strong. Strength is your soul. Your soul, you are a man via the soul within your body. If your soul doesn't crumble to temptations, you've reached a high level of iman. That temptations are there, you don't crumble to them. That makes you a strong individual. Not like the average Muslim youth, that anything that comes in front of them, they begin to do it. Why? Because everyone's doing it. When I was growing up, there was many haram things. Non-Muslims say, why are you not doing it? It's because I don't believe in it, and if something's wrong, it will make them think. Never thought become like the crowd, be like them, do things that they're doing, so I fit into society. They want you to fit into society, but they will begin to think and reflect, hey, why are you not doing that? Why don't you do that? Because you have a conviction that it's haram inside your heart. It's going to harm your life. It's going to lead you towards, can't we see the many of our Muslims, you look at the state of them. It upsets me. In our area we find people, drug addicts, Muslims on the road picking up cigarette butts, taking out the little bit of tobacco and smoking it. Muslims come from good families. It hurts me. Come from good families. This is what you're doing. Even non-Muslim, it hurts me. Think about what they're doing, what's happening to them. And these are Muslim family members. People in our family, people around our community doing these things. Because why not taking care of sins? That's why I finished with this. You find what's known as the frog experiment. If you put a frog inside burning hot water, he will just jump out straight away. You put the frog inside cold water, obviously that's his home. You get a Bunsen burner from underneath. There's an experiment that's been done, by the way. And you ignite the Bunsen burner and the water begins to get hot. It begins to boil. The frog does not jump out. The frog climatizes to the heat and he dies in the water. That example is our environment. When you climatize yourself to the environment, we're going to all die. We're all going to die. That's what's happening. We're all climatized. We're all getting used to everything around us. So automatically, when somebody says, so-and-so's done zina, so-and-so takes drugs, so-and-so does this, what happens to us? No big deal. Isn't it? That's what people think. That's no big deal because everyone's doing it. But that is dangerous. It should be a big deal. It should be a very big deal. A person begins to think about in their life, and we begin to think that how has it moved from just being something so small to something which has become so common. So like I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show signs, give the person tawfiq to go for Hajj, go for Umrah, come to the prayers, bless them with their health, their wealth, give you tranquility. The thing is halawatul iman, sweetness of iman has no price. You find that inside your heart, sweetness of iman. People are searching for that. Non-Muslims are searching for that every single day. You own everything inside their life. They want sweetness of iman. We have it. We have it. We don't want it. We keep on thinking the grass is green on the other side. If we do the things that they're doing, that we'll find some. No, we have iman. They're looking for it. In America, 1 in 3 American teenagers have contemplated suicide in their life. Every 17 minutes, someone actually commits suicide inside America. Why? I wanted to go to America when I was young. Because that's where the American dream is. That's where the life is. Good old America. Why are they killing themselves? Because of Bin Laden? Because of Taliban? Why? Why is 1 in 3 American teenagers contemplating suicide in their life, and every 17 minutes someone does take their life? Why? Because they're not happy with their life. They're not happy with their life. There is no great American dream. It's an American nightmare. There's no dream. It's a nightmare. We think that the dream is if I do this, I do that. If I become a rap star, I do this, I wear gold, I rap like this, I drive like this, I got money, I got this. This is no life. You think that's a life? You should get a life if you're following that crowd. That's what the problem is, that most of our Muslim youth, we don't have an identity, we don't have a role model. Obviously our role model is the Prophet ﷺ. That's our role model and the companions. We need to create that in society. Look, Muslims can achieve and do achieve. That's why when it comes to religious clerics, I don't want my son to be an imam. No way, Dad, you're an imam, I don't want to be an imam. What do you mean you don't want to be an imam? Why don't you want your sons to be an imam? Why don't you want your son to learn the Quran? Why don't you want him to learn the Quran? Why don't you want him to learn Islamic sciences? Why? Because we find it's inferior. We think it's inferior. You're a low-class individual. Who says you're a low-class individual? You're the highest person in front of who? In front of Allah. You're the highest person in front of Allah. Because on the day of judgment, Allah will say to that person who memorizes and learn the Quran, read and ascend. Wherever you stop reading is your place where? In paradise. If you're like me, Surah Al-Qawth and Surah Al-Ikhlas, you're not getting very high up. Okay, you're not getting very high up. Person who learned the Quran will go up. And on the day of judgment, person who memorizes the Quran, he will be crowned on his head and intercede for his family members. We, in average, we don't think that passion of thinking that the future, the youth, what's going to happen to them. Like it's once again, we will think about money, education. It's important. I'm not saying it's not important. But we need to focus upon our deen. That's what will preserve us. That will preserve our identity, preserve our people. Amongst the young people, we take the talented individuals and we encourage them that study your deen, and we prize them. We give them respect. Look at other people. They have a wrong aqa'id, wrong belief. They give them money, they give them everything to take care of them. Why? To feel privileged. What do we care about our religious people? Do we give them that respect? That child thinks, I want to be an imam. I want to be a sheikh. I want to be a teacher. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with it? Something wrong. That person should be so happy. Well, like for me, if my son was leading me in prayer and I'm behind him, I'd feel so much peace in my heart. I'd feel so much love. Not just, obviously because he's my son, naturally, but I'd feel that inside my heart. And every time in our masjid young people lead us in salah, we feel contentment. Why? Giving them an opportunity. Because we don't want to sometimes give them opportunities, so they feel that they're not privileged. Nobody cares about them. So where do you find your privileges from? You find it from the street. You find it from the outside society, that they give you that respect, that love. No, the masjid should be the home of love. The masjid should be the home of love for the person. The imam should be a person of love. Look at the Prophet ﷺ. A young person came and said to him, give me permission to commit zina. Can you imagine that? To the Prophet ﷺ said to him, give me permission to commit zina. Aaj bande ne imam nu pucha ke main zina karna. Imam take him in the back room and execute him, isn't it? What did the Prophet ﷺ say to him? He said to him, do you have a mother? He said, yes. Would you like someone to do it to your mother? He said, no. He said, hakadha nas. He said, how people are. Inda khala, do you have an auntie, a maternal aunt? He said, yes. Would you like someone to do it with your auntie? He said, no. God, that's what people are like. Inda ammatun, Do you have a paternal aunt? He said, yes. Would you like someone to do it there? He said, no. He said, that's how people are. Then the Prophet placed his blessed hand on his chest and prayed for him, that Allah guard his chastity. This young boy was never seen looking at a strange woman ever again in his life. He taught him in a blessed way. That's what our role is. You teach people in a good way. Take them by the hand, give them advice, remind them, وَذَكِّرْهُمْ بِأَيَّامِ اللَّهِ, remind them about Allah. And there's positive results. If we do that, you'll see that people, young people, they all want to, they're good, their hearts are pure. Their hearts are pure. When I was young, what do we all want to do? Just play football, isn't it? Just want to be the next football star, that's it. So why can't the masjid do that? Why can't the masjid take everyone out to football? And in that, just have a reminder, buy them some food to eat. Is it going to make the masjid go bankrupt? Are the masjid going to go bankrupt? We can spend £50,000 on a new carpet, a new chandelier, and this, that, and the other, and spend maybe £100 on buying everybody pizza once a month or whatever, taking them out, doing an activity with them, so the youth feel privileged. If not, they're going to go to the other local youth club, aren't they? Hang about there where people smoke drugs, get involved with a bad company, like I mentioned, hanging about with a frog. How many young people I know who never touched a cigarette in their life? And as you young boys say, we're only coaching with them. The next time I see them, they're involved in all types of haram. Why? Because moving with those type of people eventually catches up with you. How many young people used to come to the masjid before don't come no more? Why? Because moving with the right crowd. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the tawfiq and ability to stop there, inshallah, to travel to another destination. But also we're touring. Some of you may know that I'm in Murmur, one of the new masjids in London at the moment. It's the only masjid, or there's 2 masjids now, out of 50 masajid that gives a khutbah in English and the lecture in English. So out of 48 odd masajid in the area, it's the only one masjid, now the second masjid. Ours was the first masjid anyhow, giving khutbah in English language. I'm one of the main imams and khatibs inside that masjid. This building costs close to £1 million. Those of you know, Green Street is one of the richest areas in East London. If you ever come to Green Street, and you can come and see Green Street yourself, mashallah. Because Green Street even in Pakistan is famous, because when I go there, people ask me, have you been to Green Street? I actually live on Green Street, right near Green Street. But this masjid is a masjid that I'm behind myself, and obviously we're touring at the moment as well to raise funds for the masjid. A lot of brothers, mashallah, have donated towards the masjid, Qard Hasana, but a lot of them are asking for their money back. So we're touring and encouraging people, inshallah, to donate towards the masjid. You can set up a standing order or see the other brothers who are part of this masjid. They'll be here all day long. So do donate generously towards that cause, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum.